American singer-songwriter Jason Mraz shines a spotlight on issues he's passionate about. Born in the state of Virginia, he came to fame playing in coffee houses almost 15 years ago. He's a man who believes in a healthy lifestyle. He's bent on activism, eats raw food, and is a keen surfer, cyclist and yogi. He continues to evolve and is speaking with Kumi Taguchi about love, Myanmar and life after music.
Jason Mraz, welcome to 1+1.
Thanks.
You've described your childhood as idyllic growing up in Virginia. When did the guitar become your companion?
The guitar became my companion right after high school, actually. I was introduced to it my senior year of high school, but it was once I ventured off to New York City to study musical theater and just have an adventure of my life. My roommates in college had a guitar, and I just felt that it was so perfect to take music with you anywhere you wanted to go. I always loved singing. That's what I wanted to do since I was a little kid. But up until I was 18, it was always a piano or a group or something else providing the music. So the guitar just seemed like the perfect companion to my travels.
You seem to always know what you were doing. There's stories about you in high school joining the cheerleading team, being one of two guys in amongst hundreds of girls.
Yeah.
Why did you have that inner belief, do you think? Did you always know what you wanted?
No, I didn't know what I always wanted. However, what I always wanted to do was something different than anybody else. I wanted to make an adventure in my life, and I wanted to entertain people or get a reaction out of people. And actually joining the cheerleading team was part of that. I said, well, not many guys do that. I want to do that. You know, it's much different than all the other sports. And plus, I was in all the musicals and dramas with all of those girls already. We were already singing and dancing half our days. And so they said, hey, come with us to this thing and learn some gymnastics as well. So it seemed pretty cool.
And do you still do things differently now? Is that still your driver?
I think so. Yeah, I try not to. Well, I don't listen to radio. I don't have a television in my home, and it's impossible for me to follow trends. So when I write music, I'm hoping that it comes out a little bit different than everything else that's being made. From, I guess, a superficial perspective, the last 2 years I grew my hair crazy long. I just cut it last week. And I really did that because I wanted to be completely different than what anyone, or especially my friends and family, had thought I was becoming. I just needed to let my hair down and have a little adventure. So I'm always trying to do something a little different than the year before.
And what was it that your friends and family thought that you were becoming?
I think they thought I was checking out, like really giving up, you know. But that really wasn't the case. It was something I needed to do to just see what I was made of, see what I was capable of. I wanted to live at my edge. In the last 2 years, you know, I traded in my scooter for a motorcycle. I started surfing bigger waves. I grew my hair as long as I could, and I just really wanted to try to live a little bit more of a dangerous lifestyle than I had, you know, prior.
Talking about your music, love is such a huge theme. You've also mentioned in some interviews about how much you invest in a relationship when you're in a relationship. What is love to you, and why is it so important?
That's been a big topic for me the last couple of years, and I think it's because I've always sung about love and appreciated love, but I realized I wasn't yet a master at love. I couldn't really pinpoint it or hold it down, and so I made an album about love. Love is a 4-letter word, and my conclusion is that love is always flowing through us, and the best way that we can see it and experience it is when we share anything with someone else. We share our time, share our words, share our resources, food, money, clothing, and drink. In that we can really see the love being passed through you onto someone else. So we tend to often see it in relationships. Oh, that's love because two people are sharing things. But the relationship could also be with an animal or with a tree or in the mirror. And so I feel a lot better about love these days. And whenever I feel like I don't have it, I go work in my garden, or I help others. And the minute that you do that, you get out of this state of something's missing, and you get back into that really raw, pure state of love.
You recently performed in Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. Your material was pre-screened by the government. Mm-hmm. How did that sit with you?
I'm okay with that. They weren't the first country to ask for the material up front, so I was okay with that. However, when you want to make a last-minute change to the set list, it's impossible to do that. But I was honored to be invited. I started a foundation a few years ago, and part of our foundation is to support those in the anti-slavery movement. And our being in Myanmar was an extension of that. MTV Exit program, which is the end of exploitation and human trafficking. They've done a number of concerts across Southeast Asia and all over the world to engage the youth, empower them, and educate them on how to prevent exploitation or trafficking. And Myanmar, up until now, has been one of the countries with the worst score, the worst rating as far as how well they're dealing with human trafficking. So our concert was an opportunity to bring 70,000 young people together and celebrate music and life, but also throughout the night they'll be given tools and education and awareness so that they can prevent this from occurring. It was a tremendous experience. We were the first international artist to play there in I don't know how many years in an open air forum the way that we did. I was a little nervous about the language barrier. I was a little nervous about, just having a Western style concert in a country where only a decade ago it would have been illegal to gather in groups of more than 15. But the country is now, they've been given a lot of freedom, and they're really working hard right there in Yangon where we played, working out towards the border cities to improve the quality of life for others. They still have a long way to go. But they're doing a great job, and I couldn't have been any more humbled and just dumbfounded that I was given the opportunity to be there.
When you looked out at those 70,000 faces, was the expression different to, say, a group of people or a crowd of people you perform for in, say, the United States or Australia?
Yes.
In what way?
Yeah. When I perform in the United States, for instance, the audience, they show up with a, okay, impress me kind of an attitude, in general, not everyone. But man, in Myanmar and in many other countries around the world, you'll get this just immediate gratitude when you walk out on stage. The faces are lit up. I think it's more than just the music. They're excited to see you. They're excited that you made the journey to see them. And there's, as if hands are reaching, you feel it in their eyes. Their eyes are reaching for you as well. I wanted to teach them the wave. It's a big, send the energy around the room by waving our hands. And I thought I was giving great instruction. I said, okay, when the person in front of you raises their arms, then you raise your arms, and we're going to feel it all the way to the back, because I wanted the wave to happen from the front to back. I said, here we go. And on the count of 3, everybody put their hands up at the same time. It was adorable, but it just also showed that while the translation may not have happened, the listening was still on, and everybody was ready and willing to participate, and it was just awesome.
Your personality on stage is incredibly vibrant, extremely energetic, particularly songs like Cop Chase. There seems to be a totally different Jason Mraz on stage to the one in real life who seems more subdued and quietly spoken. Does the stage allow you a space to become someone else?
I think the stage allows me not to become someone else, but a version of myself that I enjoy. I'm often dubbed, this guy who has a really positive attitude, and his songs are uplifting and they touch, move, and inspire. And that really comes from spending a lot of time in opposite state. feeling like a lack of self-worth or something's missing in my life. And so songwriting has always given me an opportunity to dig myself out of a dark place, or to recognize what shadow I might be living in and step into the light once again. And when I have success in songwriting, I put that out on the records, which then gives me a platform of our stage to then shine that light for others, in hopes that this might heal a broken heart or dig them out of their shadow, and if anything, just entertain us for a little bit longer while we're here in this kind of mysterious world. So the stage, I prefer who I am on stage, because you have to truly live in the moment when you're on stage. And I always tried to curate my shows to be something that's positive. And I'm not going to sing my depressing poor me songs on stage, because I've invited thousands of people to come. I don't want to bum anybody out. So
If you don't have that stage sometime in your future, how does that part of your personality get known?
I've been thinking a lot about this. I wonder if I'll tour my whole life, or if I'll always have a stage. In my local community where I live in San Diego, I dream of having a community center that we might be able to use for yoga or a cafe, but also music. And I felt if I don't tour, I'll at least have my own little stage in my community. I began my career in coffee shops. I still play open mic nights in the coffee shops when I'm not touring. Most of my material is still debuted at that level. So I feel even without the grand stage that I've been given, I would probably create something small in my backyard for that.
Jason Mraz, thank you for joining us on 1+1.
Thanks for having me.